Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This is part 13 of What If Naruto was sent to the Highschool DxD universe. Also check out previous parts of this What If, link is in description. I have created a playlist for this What If, where you can find all the previous parts, check that out as well. Before we start, please do support for more awesome content, it really means a lot. Don't forget to subscribe and leave a like. And also check the description, for the creator of this great fanfic, and support them for making this fanfic. So let's start this video. Naruto glared at the afternoon sun with contempt. Cans of beer in a nylon bag swayed back and forth, with every step he took walking back from a visit to a construction company. He sighed thinking about his broken window. He had more than enough money to repair his broken window, but the recent increase in crime rate was really bothering him. In the newspaper, on social media, TV and even little kids all talked about it. Naruto would sometimes pay attention when his neighbors ranted on and on about the emerging issue and the government's attitude towards it. Pocketing his right hand, Naruto scanned Issei's house in his line of sight with a bored look on. The orc origin, so that means they are in the underworld. The underworld, he idly wondered what it'd look like. Was it like the humans in this world depicted? Well, he wasn't curious enough to visit the place personally. Naruto stopped when his sensitive ears picked up a sobbing sound. Searching around, he had to do a once-over, spotting a woman wearing a yellow apron on a cream shirt and white pants squatted beside the Highschool bin, with her head buried between her legs. Naruto placed a hand in his pocket, intent on ignoring the weird stranger. Maybe Issei got someone pregnant, Naruto thought before he noticed a long mane of white hair and a purple ribbon. "Grandma, I still don't have a boyfriend," the squatted girl sobbed. Sliver, her hair was silver, he noticed when he got near. She was so absorbed by her sorrows, she didn't notice he was in front of her, even when he knelt on one knee in front of her. "Boy," he said as he placed a hand on her head. Naruto felt a warm hand on her head, and lifted her head up to the face of one Naruto Uzumaki. "You alright?" he asked with a straight face. "Uzumaki-san," she wiped her tears. Naruto stared at her, trying to memorize her face with his hands still on her head. "Oh, I had a hunch it was her." Naruto remembered those green eyes, and now that she was near, he had a clear picture of her face. Her red, tear-stained face. "I'm fine," she said, removing his hand off her head. This guardian wiped off the little tears that escaped her eyes with the back of her. "Good. Crying doesn't suit you," Naruto replied, before he stood up. Naruto placed her hand over her red cheeks, flustered. A stranger saw her crying, and the fact that he complimented her. Would you like to, take a seat or something?" Naruto said while gesturing at a bench. "Or a can of beer. If you're thirsty." "I'm fine, really," she said, sniffing, shaking her palms spread out in front of her. They both stood there awkwardly for a while with Naruto's beer on the floor. Where are you coming from?" she said, trying to steer the topic of the conversation away from her. "The park. I love visiting the park." "Ah," she exclaimed, nodding. "You live around here?" "Yes, temporarily," Naruto said, pointing at Issei's house. Naruto's eyes followed her fingers, his eyes landing on Issei's house. "I see." They both stood there awkwardly with Naruto looking somewhere else except Naruto's blue eyes, and Naruto was trying to think of something to say. Finding none, he gave up. "Well, I will see you around." "HM? You too," she replied. Naruto had a thoughtful look on his face throughout the short trip back home, which was really short as his house was next to Issei's. "She looks familiar, somehow, but I can't seem to remember where I know her from." Naruto's green eyes followed Naruto's back till he was out of sight, a tiny smile on her features. She turned around to go inside before she saw Naruto's beer lying on the floor. "He forgot to take that." "How'd it go?" "I hired them and they are coming to fix the broken window 3 days from now." "That's great," Kaguya said, looking out the broken window. Azazel came to the Sekyute's house while you were out. "Really?" Naruto raised an eyebrow. "Why would he visit?" "I don't know, with the crime rate and the attempted robbery, maybe Azazel wanted to check up on them." Kaguya figured. A knock at the front door cut their conversation short. Naruto gave Kaguya a look and gestured to the door before he flopped on the couch face first. The mother goddess shot him a look before sighing. She opened the front door, see a sliver-haired young woman. "Oh, hello," Kaguya greeted. Naruto's green eyes widened a fraction when a female beauty opened the door. Good day," she greeted awkwardly. "Uzumaki-senpai forgot this outside," she said, extending the nylon bag. "Uzumaki-senpai," Kaguya repeated mentally. "Oh, thank you very kindly," the goddess took the bag. "Do you live around here?" "Yeah, we are neighbors actually," she replied. "Would you like to come in for a?" She trailed off, staring at Naruto. "No, thank you." Oh, Kaguya's face lit up when she finally figured Naruto out. She was talking to one of Odin's Valkyrie. "How are you related to my little brother?" "We are colleagues." "I see, well, I will see you around," she said before shutting the door. Naruto, still face down in the long chair, suddenly shot his head up, a look of terror on his face, when he heard the door click shut. "Ah, my beer." Naruto's rushed attempt to go find his alcoholic beverage was cut short by Kaguya. "Looking for this? How did you know I was looking for that?" The lady brought it here. She said you forgot it outside. A colleague of yours. Didn't get to know her name. She is someone I know. Naruto snatched the bag from Gaia. Want some? He asked. Naruto cleared the table, looking for a good movie to see, while Gaia grabbed some snacks. 10 minutes into the movie, another knock on the front door called their attention. Gaia narrowed her eyes at Naruto with her hands folded across her chest. Naruto, who had his mouth glued to a can of beer, glanced at her discreetly, hoping she would go answer the door if he drank the whole content of the can slowly, but alas, another knock on the door foiled his plans. Removing the can of beer from his mouth reluctantly, Naruto slammed it back on the table and shot Gaia a dry look. I will go get it, he said while mumbling about something under his breath. The moment Naruto opened the door, his expression went from a dry one to a straight face back to his bored one. Hello, Naruto-san, Naruto-sensei. Two platinum blonde male and female greeted Naruto with smiles on their faces. So, let me get this straight. This smoking hot woman, he said pointing a finger at Gaia, is your older sister? He finished moving his finger towards Naruto. What? Don't we look alike? Gaia questioned. How's this possible? John yelled out in disbelief. Big bro, stop prying, okay? Just cause they don't look alike doesn't mean they are not siblings, Martha said, a bit confused. See? You partially agree with me, John exclaimed. But for some reason, I get this feeling Gaia-san isn't ordinary, like she is way above us, Martha beamed. Naruto almost choked on his beer, while Gaia shifted uncomfortably with a strained smile on her face. Ha, that's weird, I get the same feeling too. Maybe it's due to her heavenly beauty. Who knows, she might be a goddess in disguise, John said carefully. He chuckled at his own joke, and Martha joined in laughing with Naruto and Gaia laughing along awkwardly. Really, Naruto-san, thank you for saving my little sister. If it weren't for you, it's nothing, really. The blonde house owner cut him off. If there's any way I can repay you. Stop calling me Naruto-san. Naruto's just fine. Gaia beside Naruto smiled at him. He might be a rude jerk sometimes, but deep down, there's still that drive to protect those in danger inside him somewhere. Martha just beamed at Naruto with her chin resting on her intertwined fingers. HM, Naruto, John said with a smile on his face. They all sipped beer in silence, except Martha who had a refill of orange juice. Gaia suddenly broke the thickening silence. Well, since today's a special day. Today's a special day? Naruto asked, unaware. We rarely have visitors, but today, we have two. And I'd like to prepare something nice for them. Oh, we wouldn't want to. John wants to decline, but Gaia was having none of that, and Naruto cut him off. Don't worry, her food tastes heavenly, it's as if a goddess prepared it, he said with a smirk, loving the strained smile on the two platinum blonde-haired humans, and the huge sweat drop on Gaia's face. His fun was cut short, when Gaia gripped his sleeves hard, and yanked with enough force to knock him off balance. Luckily, Gaia pushed him back to balance before he fell. Naruto, she said through gritted teeth, I need you to run to the store and get me. There's never enough ingredients, Naruto whispered, shaking his head with narrowed eyes zoned out staring at the distance. Oh, and don't be late, she finished slapping his shoulder. I will go with Naruto, John said. He saw the distant look on the blonde's face, and figured he ignored what his sister said. Fine, Gaia replied. Martha waved at them before they left. Gaia-san, when are they going to come back? Well, given all the variables, especially Naruto, maybe an hour. An hour? Martha cried out and Gaia nodded. Martha's purple eyes glanced at the analog wall clock. Whoa, then that means we'll be here till 9 p.m. Is it a problem? Nope. Not at all, Martha chuckled, happy she was alone with a woman who reminded her of her dead mom for some reason. In the underworld, Segun-sama, a high-ranking devil barged in breathing hard. The stack of papers on the Great Devil King's table went flying across the room by a startled Segun. The red-haired Devil King sighed, massaging his forehead. What is it this time? He asked irritably. The devil picked up the irritation in his voice, and went down to his knees, his head bowed for what he was about to say, would surely bring the Great Devil King's irritation to a new heights like never before. It's about hell, sir, he said. Segun sat up straight back to Devil King mode. I told them to tell you about it when it happened, but the curator told us not to say anything, not to disturb you, telling us he had it under wraps. The lesser devil was visibly shaking on the floor, scared witless. Calm down, talk to me. What about hell? What happened there? Sir, an SS-rank demon escaped hell 4 days ago. He yelled, closing his eyes in fear, hoping he would survive the wrath of the Great Devil King. Segun's eyes whitened to the size of dinner plates, as he shot up from his chair. Look at me in the eye and tell me, which SS-rank demon was it, and where did it escape off to? The lesser devil dared not, looking Segun in the eye. Earth, sir. The devil heard Segun's breathing sharply, and the room temperature suddenly became hotter. He dared to glance at the Great Devil King, seeing a thin layer of the power of destruction seeping out of his body. He began praying to anyone out there, so he could survive this. A demon, an SS rank at that, escaped hell, wandered off to Earth 4 days ago, and you're telling me now, what demon was it? Surziches ordered his anger at its boiling point. The devil raised his head, and the great devil king saw the look of fear etched on his face. It was Ash. With a wave of Surziches' hand, the devil spoke no more. Surziches Lucifer's pupils shrunk back a fraction as he sat back on his chair. Thank you for working up the courage to tell me about this. You're dismissed. As soon as the devil left, 3 devils rose from a red magic circle conjured by Surziches. They all stood at attention seeing the look on Surziches' face. I have a very important mission for you on Earth. Your priority is to neutralize the target and bring it back. Keep it low-key as much as possible. Surziches informed. The team leader is Seraphil. Graphia wondered why Surziches created a 4-man cell with the Devil King as the leader. Are we finally going to probe that blonde? Saoji asked, a bit excited. No, it's something far more important. An SS-rank demon escaped from hell. Surziches saw the look of surprise on their faces, and thanked his stars for the fact that Riaz and Sona, along with their respective peerages, were in the underworld safe and unaware of the demon's escape. There's no way they'd want to sit this one out if they learned about it, and an SS-rank demon wasn't something they could deal with right now. Even a squad of ultimate-class devils would be hard-pressed to defeat an SS-rank demon. Surziches wished someone would pat him on the head and tell him he is doing fine. Being a Devil King is really hard sometimes. Odin's visit is just a few days away, and with the terrorist group, Chaos Brigade, on the loose, who knows how audacious they might be. And there's the fact that not all Norse deities are in consensus of Odin signing the treaty, and now, there's an SS-rank demon loose on Earth. Who knows, Surziches might tender that resignation letter sooner than expected. Back on Earth. The sun's done its job for the day, and it was time for the streetlights to take over the night shift. Of course, Big Brother Moon, junior brother to Great Uncle Sun, the chief staff of the night shift, took its time supervising the streetlights, making sure to illuminate the hard-to-reach spot where the streetlight rays can't reach. 2 humans in particular, Naruto and John, woke back home in silence in the cold breezy night. John offered to take the grocery bag, but Naruto declined. It was really hard to start a conversation with Naruto because he gave short replies. So, you got anyone you're interested in? John asks all of a sudden. This one would surely get anyone interested. No? Not even those pretty girls everyone talks about in the neighborhood, who live beside you, and the fact that you teach in the same school. Naruto stopped for a moment before he resumed. I'm not interested in bad women. Sorry? John said, unfamiliar with the term. Let's just say looks can be deceiving. So, they have a skeleton in their cupboard, who doesn't? I mean, it's not as if they are devils with bad wings. John said with a blithely look on his face. Naruto found it quite amusing, the fact that this guy was on spot every time. If Naruto didn't know he was an ordinary human, Naruto would think he was faking it. There's no such things as magic, devils, gods, angels, and even ninjas. Whoa there, slow down. Ninjas are totally real. Naruto's voiced out involuntarily. The shinobi in him wanted to prove his existence. Have you ever seen one? John deadpanned. You bet your law enforcement ass I have, Naruto replied heatedly. The blonde fought in a shinobi world war, damn it. Yeah, I bet they were dressed in black and had throwing stars, and what else? They could walk on walls and run on water. Better yet, they can breathe fire with an intricate movement of their fingers, he said sarcastically, forming a poor tiger's seal. Naruto narrowed his eyelids at John, sizing him up. He also made a mental note to keep an eye on John. This guy knew way too much. Ninjas are just a figment of someone's imagination, I swear. I'm starting to dislike this guy. Naruto had a tick mark on his left cheek. A sudden urge to prank the policeman rising up. Hey, wait up, Naruto. John yelled, trying to catch up with the ninja. Naruto had quickened his footsteps, reciting a verbal exercise for anger management. His muttering was cut short when he stopped abruptly, sensing something that was out of this world, something sinister. He turned his head to a dark alley, where the sinister signature was coming from. Naruto, wait up. John suddenly went wide-eyed, and by the looks of it, he sensed it too. The woman went past them, looking over her shoulder, wondering why the two of them stopped all of a sudden. She didn't notice. To solidify Naruto's analysis, he waited until 2 guys went past them, and still, they couldn't sense it. Naruto glanced at John sideways. This guy, Naruto stared at him. Naruto decided to investigate the eerie alley, ignoring John's warning not to. It was a dead end, and a little child squatted at the end of the alley sobbing, her back turned to Naruto. A flashback of a silver-haired woman crying hit him, and he had to shake his head to get rid of it. Naruto, don't wander off alone, John whispered behind him, eyes darting back and forth. Can't you hear it? Hear what? John asked, on the verge of throwing hysterics. Naruto moved closer to the child, still hearing the sobs loud and clear. Hey, I can hear something. Almost like a sob. Now he does, Naruto thought, rolling his eyes, giving John a look like when Kakashi saw Bito kissing Rin's photo. Naruto could see the little child clearly now when he got near. White gown riddled with stains, black hair almost brown due to dirt and dust, and a foul smell emanating from him or her. Judging by the long hair, Naruto decided it was a she. Oh my god, it's just a child, John breathed a sigh of relief. Are you okay? Naruto asked, his guards still up. He gently placed a hand on her shoulder as the child slowly turned around sobbing. Nai-chan, sob, I need, sob, your soul, the child whispered, red eyes glowing with madness, human dentition suddenly replaced with the monster's. The little child opened its mouth wide enough to swallow Naruto's head. He rejoiced with sick glee as another human fell prey to its deception. What he liked the most about its victims was the look of terror, utter fear in their eyes as he devoured them. But there was something wrong with this human, he had no fear in his eyes. Maybe he is too scared to react. His teeth were a millimeter away from Naruto's face, purple slime and saliva dripping from his mouth. The other human beside Naruto screamed at the top of his lungs, just the way the possessed child liked, but unfortunately, that one will not be harmed. Back to the blonde one, the look on his face morphed from indifference to a mix of irritation and anger. Boom. The possessed child choked, feeling his shoulder blades crack the moment it made impact with the alley wall. A hand around his neck tightened uncomfortably, as he wheezed for air, grabbing the hand obstructing his windpipe. Trash, Naruto said with contempt. Naruto-san. John screamed. Do you know us? The possessed child asked, his voice deep and demonic, as if a group of people spoke at once. Oh my god. John behind Naruto exclaimed, full of fear, for the child had his neck bent at impossible angles. Sharp claws replaced fingers, green veins spread across his neck, and his voice gave John chills. Goosebumps appeared all over his arms. Get out this child, Naruto ordered with a calm face, the child's feet dangling in the air, as it struggled against Naruto's hold. Silence, lowly human. Your legs cannot order us. The possessed child clawed at Naruto's face, trying to break free. The grip around his neck tightened. The more he tried to break free, the more Naruto tightened his grip. His fingers dug deep into Naruto's hand, injecting him with a purple viscous liquid in the process. Naruto, this poison is trying to take over your body. Kurama warned, already working on repelling it. Naruto-san, what are you going to? He couldn't believe it, but for the first time in his life, he was in a dilemma very few are faced with. His hands shaking uncontrollably, he took aim, the trigger squeezed halfway. His conscience wouldn't allow it, but Naruto's grip on the child's neck was so tight the child could choke to death. His glowing red eyes softened, the madness in it gone like it was never there before, eyes misty with unshed tears, pleaded to be free, and right there, he made a decision that would haunt him for the rest of his life. He closed his eyes and hoped his baby sister would forgive him. You won't come out? Naruto asked, tightening the chokehold he had on the child. The child roared and hissed at Naruto, digging its claws deep into Naruto's skin. He watched as purple bled into Naruto's eyes with black concentric circles overlapping it. The gut feeling to never mess with the human choking him rose, but he squashed it down. Even the Grey Devils feared him, then why fear a human who had this sweet child's body in a chokehold? Ninjendo, Naruto intoned. Impossible. The demon inside the child screamed, mentally feeling its consciousness, its body leaving the child's body. Naruto, stop or I will shoot. You're hurting a child, John said with his gun pointed at Naruto's skull. He heard Naruto say something that sounded like human path and took a step backwards. The child, if it was a child at this point, screamed in excruciating pain mixed with a demonic voice. John was never one to believe in the supernatural, but right in front of his eyes, a dark fog-like being with red glowing eyes screeched, as Naruto pulled it out from the child who was levitating in the air, his head reared up, hands spread out wide. The demon's head came out little by little, as it struggled against Naruto, wanting to stay inside the child. Impossible. We can't break free. The demon glared at Naruto with loathing, and Naruto leveled his own glare at it. Get out. Naruto yanked, pulling the demon out of the child, throwing it at the opposite wall. John's purple eyes trailed the demon's form, as it hit the wall and fell on its arms. John backed away in fear, his gun slipping out of his hands. What? John looked from Naruto, who had a hand on the child, to the demon on the floor rising. His eyes made contact with the demon's, and he was petrified with fear. Long thin demonic arms extended, getting bigger as it neared John, big enough to grab John's entire midsection. Get down! Naruto screamed, springing into action with the child in his arms. He pushed John out of harm's way, holding the unconscious boy. The demon, seeing John was out of its reach, and smirked at Naruto. Back in the Uzumaki mansion, Martha suddenly fell down, feeling dizzy. Kaguya caught her in time before she hit the floor. She placed a hand on her head in worry, feeling her body temperature. Hey, Martha, are you okay? Kaguya asks before she snaps her head west, eyes wide. No way, Kaguya felt it 2 days ago, but she thought she was under the weather, but sensing that thing again couldn't be coincidence. My brother, he's in danger, said a distressed Martha. Don't worry. Naruto's with him, Kaguya tried to ease her worries. No, you don't understand. He's in danger beyond human capacity, she said, crying. Listen to me, Martha. Naruto is going to keep your brother safe, alright? Naruto's gonna protect him, she said before hugging her. Back in the demon's alley. You humiliated us. It screamed to the heavens before rearing its hand back, enlarging it to epic proportions, breaking the alley's dead end. Debris flew around and a sharp gust of wind cut Naruto's cheek and the boy in his hands. Run, John. Naruto screamed, tearing his eyes from the demon to check whether John was okay. Big mistake. Turning his eyes back to the demon, a huge purple demonic arm covered his vision. Fast. There wasn't even enough time for a Shin or Tensei. Naruto turned around, squeezed his eyes shut, braced for impact before hugging the boy to his chest in time, before a huge palm riddled with thorns slapped him in the back out of the alley at lightning-fast speed. Naruto grunted, coughing out a mouthful of blood while moving in the air against his will at high speed. He opened his eyes and for a split second, everything in the world blurred by before he focused, and everything slowed down to a pace he could understand. He noticed he was headed to a collision with a brick wall. He turned around, shielding the boy from harm's way again, taking the impact with his already bleeding back. Spider cracks appeared all over the walls, and Naruto was embedded in the center, still holding the unconscious child. He fell to the ground on his knees, a moment later breathing hard. The cold wind blew at the exposed injury on his back, blood seeping from it onto the floor. Naruto checked the kid and a wave of relief washed over him, seeing the child was okay sleeping like a rock. John was a few feet away from the demon, and the demon didn't even spare him a glance. Its focus was on Naruto as it hissed at the blonde teacher. Naruto, the injury is taking longer than expected to heal. Taking more of those might be dangerous. Be careful, Kurama warned. Boy, what's that thing? Son Goku asked. I don't know, son. I have never seen anything like it. Naruto gasped, seeing a purple blur in his line of sight with the help of the Rinnegan. He tipped his head to the side, and his left ear went deaf due to the impact of a purple fist embedding itself where his head was a moment ago. The arm was extended, and Naruto couldn't see where it came from in the distance, with the little light provided by the moon. The demon appeared in front of Naruto, who had backed away from the wall on his knees. Naruto could see it clearly now that it was so near. Its body looked like it was made out of purple mist, and its eyes a deep glowing red. Its teeth looked like an endless row of pointed long sharp teeth. It had no lips and lower body. Instead of a lower body, it had a cloud of purple mist, and its waist upward looked humanoid. You, how dare you, it demanded, staring at Naruto's purple eyes. Its other hand raced from the distance, returning its original length, and he placed it on the wall opposite Naruto's face. You do not fear us. You will make a good vessel for us. No thanks, but I gotta ask. Naruto's face went from exhausted to serious. What are you? The demon chuckled at Naruto's question, loving the look on Naruto's face. You are unworthy to know our name, human. You are but a mere ant to be trampled on, it said before dipping its claws into Naruto's face. Naruto screamed in pain before a clone he created kicked the demon away. The demon skidded to half and screeched at both Narutos. Multiplication. A talented human indeed, yet we do not sense any sacred gear, it said before it grew sharp claws and went on all fours. Twos. Take him, Naruto threw the child at the clone. I have to kill a talking fog. We sense the powers of the old yokai in you, but you do not bear their blood. Yeah, I'm special because I'm a ninja, a shinobi, Naruto said before his eyelids turned orange. Thanks for listening. I do hope you enjoyed. If you want the next part of this video, like, subscribe, and comment down below, and turn on that bell notification. And also check out the playlist that I have created, and enjoy. Link is in the description. See you in the next video. Peace.